So with that, we have a pledge. And our pledge states this: I will strive to learn what it means to be an African American man spiritually, physically, and culturally. I will strive to respect God in my conduct and relationships. I will strive to honor my family by using my God-given potential in every situation. I will strive to show respect for myself by respecting others. Anyone of you, the young boys, want to tell me what that means to you? Do you know what it means to learn what it means to be an African American man spiritually?
Grow to do the right thing.
That's one concept, because spiritually that'll make you do the right thing. Huh?
African American that believes in God.
That believes in God. That's spiritually. Anyone of you, my mentors, want to kind of elaborate a little bit on that?
What was the question again?
What do you feel like it means to you to be a spiritually African American man? Or just a man, because spiritually is not highest.
First, be able to take care of my family and trust in God and take care of my family.
And as a man, you always want to be
On the spiritual realm,
Oh.
spiritually, how would you relate that to your personal life? Like, what do you feel like it is needed to be a spiritually sounded man?
Well, number one, I think you need to basically to be a spiritually sounded individual. Number one, you got to know the word.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, you got to be the type of person that knows how to interpret the word. And when I say interpret it, live by the word. Know what is meant by the word, and be able to exemplify it in your daily walk.
Okay.
Now you're getting, get understanding. Now it's like getting, get understanding.
All right.
Trust
Anything else?
and believe. In God.
And you have to be humble. You have to be humble in order to be able to receive the word. Because if you so hard, can't nobody tell you nothing, you ain't gonna get it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we're gonna run into. A lot of these guys in the street, they think they hard, you know, and they got to be broke down. Because we as men, I'm quite sure Ben and Deacon Nelson can tell you, we done been through stuff where we just had to break down and just had to throw our hands, hey God, we can't do this.
Really,
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's one of the main things that's going to get them there.
So in dealing with a lot of young people that I deal with, it's a case of there's no fear factor.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And in order to get to these young people today, you're gonna have to instill the kind of values that some of us had instilled in us by our parents. But it's always gonna be that if my mother told me to hang up my coat when I came home from school, and I come in and she's standing in the hallway, the first thing that's gonna impact me is, hey, she's there, I got that fear that if I throw the coat down, but these kids now don't have that.
Yeah.
And
No consequences.
They don't have that.
Yeah.
So what do you think what do you, Javar and Jaquan, what do you think it means to be physically strive to be physically fit as an African American man?
Get exercise.
Mm-hmm. What about you?
Get a healthy heart.
Huh?
Get a healthy heart.
Healthy heart, very good.
And that comes from
All right,
exercise
Mr. Ben.
and eating the right thing.
Well, I don't like to go back to when I grew up, but
That's a long time ago.
I'm gonna have to go back to that. What I mean by that is, this generation has that mentality of I'm gonna use the word commonality and generation that this is the way it's always been, and they don't know the root. And I feel like that if they could learn a little more black history and the roots and how important and it is to be a man in a black family, then I think that would have a bigger impact, because we've got so many of them now with a single parenthood, being raised by a single parent, and society on a whole, as messed up as it is, that they lost that family value, and a lot of them don't realize that they are black, and there is a stigma. So I think the basis, the root, they gotta know who they are,
Right.
whom I am, and where I come from.
Exactly.
And then,
What about you, Brother Nelson?
Well, basically, it's about the same to me, because everything that we should raise up our children is speaking in the scripture, but today, in this society today, we got some hurdles in our way, because people say raise up the child, they are the way God to go in the Lord, and they say as they get older, they will depart, but the foundation's in them. And it does say, if you spare the rod, you spoil the child. And see, they don't know what the rod is. I mean, tearing this backside.
Right.
But now, you got these hurdles in our way now that if you do that, they call that child abuse. And sometimes our children, they feel like we against them totally. They want to go, first thing to do, you chastise them at home. They'll go to the school, back to school lesson, they'll tell the teachers that I got a whipping. And the next thing they come in mind, because what they'll do, they're gonna call cut these people in, HRS, or whatever. So that's one of the basic things, the fight we got against us. But for me, I chastise my kids, but guess what? I think the society really usually chastises when they don't report it. It's in this generation that rebellious. I don't know whether they're born with that kind of spirit or the world. I mean, the world ain't changed.
Well, the Bible say it speaks of the children getting wickeder, wiser. So that's just the word coming to pass, as far as I see it.
Right.
But it also doesn't mean that it cannot be rectified with the discipline and what has been set in the book, as far as discipling our kids. And we have to stay. We have to stay continuous on it and consistent with it, because the world is not going to teach them what we want them to teach them. And when they can't have control, they do all kind of little odds and ends to make things happen and to tear up the houses. So that's probably that's the spirit I feel like in most of the kids now, is that they feel like they have a bunch of avenues, but truly and honestly, if they ever get the opportunity to talk to kids that had to go through those avenues, they would not want to go through those situations. Because I know for a fact if kids really knew what a lot of kids that's in adoption homes and other people's homes go through, they would not. But that's the idea that society has given them, like that's an option. All right, Mr. Kenny, what you think? Brother Kenny, what you think?
I think
Physically being an African American man is like.
Well, I think they need to see a man to be a man. And I say that because when I was growing up, my grandfather, my uncles, my father, I saw them being men. And that's what I think this society has gotten away from. They can't be a man because they don't see a man. And that comes from their history. They have to learn to appreciate the people that died before them, why they did it. Because that's what I had to instill in my son, because he grew up in that younger generation. And it's like the Tendo, McDonald's, that environment. And he was raised up with his mom pretty much for 6 years after we got divorced. And then when I got custody of him, I was like, okay, well now I got to change my whole lifestyle from being a single to being a parent now. So I had to, take some things out of my house and raise him up the way I wanted him to go without that era of what I've been through.
Well, all those are excellent answers, and that really, is what our pledge is. As mentors, as mentees, that's what we're gonna pledge to give to our young mentees, is that we're gonna, show them or help them find the information needed to be an African American, male in those components. And that's what I want them to understand. That's what I want the mentors to understand. It's not so much of, yes, we're gonna spend time, we're gonna have fun, but we're trying to install some real values in them. And we want them, I think a lot of the issue is they don't have any men to go to. They don't have nobody to reach out. They don't have the exposure, because, you know, for myself, I'm a single mother and I raised two boys, you know, and what I tried to install in them is not what they really always needed. It was good advice. Then, you know, my older son can come back to me now and say, you know, I understand why you was telling me, but it was some things that was missing. It was some valuable components that was missing to help guide him to be the young man that he is. So with that being said, that's my passion on wanting to reach out to our young boys, is because we don't have the opportunity nor the time to sit down and see another generation go through the judicial system and hope everything is going to work out. As we see, times are changing and people are making some drastic decisions. And at the end of the day, if we look at it from the top to the bottom, we always get the end of it, the tail end of the situation. And it's never too late, but at the same token, I listen to different people saying how, you know, if they make a mistake at 9, they done messed up their whole entire life, depending on what the situation is. You know what I'm saying? So that don't give our kids too much of a time or opportunity to be kids, make a mistake, realize they made a mistake, and then move forward. And that's how the society is setting it up, because there's no one there that's advocating for our young boys, that they understand it. They get more money sending our young boys to prison than they do to rehabilitate them, train them, you know, put them in tutoring when they need it. You know, just pushing them through and using them as numbers, as, you know, is not sufficient anymore. Our boys have so much more potential, and they just need people to actually help tap into it. And me, myself, as a single mother, I feel like it's important that my next son sees a male role model that has the characters of a African American, that has potential, that has done things, that, you know, seen things, and all that. Like you say, they need to know where they came from to be able to go know where they're going, you know. And I just think that's very imperative. So with that being said, that's the pledge. We're going to say that pledge at the beginning of every meeting. And I want you to really understand and put it in your heart to know that that is really important. And then the second bullet point, it says, respect God in my conduct and relationships. Well, my son goes to church. I'm sure Jaquan goes to church, and they know the idea of God. They know Jesus. They know we come to church. But do they really understand what it means to respect God in their lives? You know, they're little kids, they're thinking that's grown people stuff. Because I know when I was growing up, I didn't see it as something that I needed to know. That was something my parents was doing, or my grandma, or somebody else was doing, and I just went to church because I was a child and I couldn't be home by myself. You know what I'm saying? So we really want to install that belief, that value in them, because true enough, we all know that's the foundation. If once we get that foundation laid, you know, just like they say, if you teach them early the way they should go, they should impart. And even if a parent can't do it per se, you know, I've seen where kids relate better to someone on the outside. So because of that, you know, we definitely need to teach them that.
On that note, what you said, but when you see what some parents, when I was raised up, the whole community.
Hold your tail up.
Right.
But see, this society has gotten away from that. Don't hit my child.
Right. Don't you say anything to my child.
Yeah.
And see, that's what I think one of the biggest mistakes the young parents today do. They hear something happen to the child, instead of go and find out the bottom between with both parents. They want to go approach the other parents to fight.
Right.
And so what that set a bad precedent to the shit. They say, well, hey, I can go tell my mama or my daddy that coming from so and so. Well, see, that's not the way.